Today on Inspired Money.
The naked ping pong party was just the conduit of what Spin is today and what other clubs are today. And that was born purely out of fun and passion. And luckily today, it's still fun and passion when you walked into our club. But the essence is still there. We still have that essence.
That sense is still there?
Yeah.
Even when Jamie Foxx or Prince show up to play?
Oh, that's why they come, because of that.
This is episode 3 with co-founder of Spin, the rapidly expanding franchise of international ping pong social clubs, Franck Raharinosy. Welcome to Inspired Money. My name is Andy Wong, a managing partner at Runnymede Capital Management. Each week, we bring you an interesting person to help you get inspired, shift your perspectives on money, and achieve incredible things. From making it to giving it away, Inspired Money means making a difference, creating something bigger than oneself, and maybe, just maybe, making the world a better place. Thank you for joining me. Ping pong, or as the Chinese say, ping pong. Sorry, I couldn't resist. That, of course, is quoting Christopher Walken in the movie Balls of Fury. Today we talk with Franck Raharinosy, who, along with Oscar Award winner Susan Sarandon and other partners, co-founded Spin, a unique concept of ping pong social clubs. What's that, you ask? Picture this. 20 ping pong tables, including a center court with stadium seating. And according to a press release, guests can look forward to being immersed in a creative atmosphere surrounded by energy that emulates artistic expression, shared memories, and Epicurean discovery with sustainable farm-to-table fare, handcrafted cocktails, and craft beers. No, this is not the ping pong table in the basement that I grew up to. I'm excited to speak with Franck because he's an entrepreneur who is building something. It begins with his passion of playing ping pong, where he and his roommate started hosting twice-a-week parties at their Tribeca loft, billed as naked ping pong parties. There was a $20 buy-in, and these gatherings grew to include business people, celebrities, models, hipsters, and athletes. Franck and his partners ran with the momentum that they created and opened Spin in 2009 in the depths of the financial crisis. His story is also that of an American dream. Born in Lyon, France, he grew up modestly off the coast of Madagascar and eventually made his way to the Big Apple to make something of himself. Unique path? I'd say so. How many people do you know who created a business based upon ping pong parties at their apartment? Now, I get the sense that Franck is a really fun person to invite to a party. Let's get to it and get inspired with ping pong playing entrepreneur Franck Raharinosy. Great. Well, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to be speaking with you.
Yeah, thank you.
I love to start the show with the first question. What's your earliest childhood memory of money?
So I used to, I played tennis when I was very young. My dad used to play a lot of tennis. And I went to a public school near Lyon in the suburbs. And I remember one day I showed up at school with a big box of tennis balls. And I sold them for $1. And I must have been 7 years old maybe. So that was, that's when that's my first memory of making money.
So you sold some tennis balls.
Tennis ball for $1 in the suburbs, in a public school in France, probably, like on the playground.
No, that's interesting. I was a tennis player too, and I don't know, I was a little bit older than that, but I used to string tennis rackets and do that at the local club. Now, Franck, your life and business seem to be full of crazy adventures. Can you take me back to the spring of 2007 when you had these legendary ping pong parties at your apartment?
Yeah, so my best friend Jonathan Bricklin and I had a big loft in Tribeca, and we had a production company. And it was a big space, and it wasn't very expensive, and we used to live there and have the production office. And I remember so the first thing we bought, and Jonathan was very excited about it, was this beautiful rainbow-shaped ping pong table. And that's the first thing we had in the apartment before even the apartment was finished. I remember I used to sleep next to the table because there was no walls, but I just wanted to be in the space. And the first party we had was on my birthday, actually, coming up July 17th. And we had, like a lot of friends coming and just playing ping pong and hanging out and drinking and having fun. So that was the first party we did. And then we started hosting those events every Friday night for a while, for 2.5 years before we even opened Spain. So that was really like a really cool thing to really build, like a great community of like interesting people that also like us were passionate about the game,
How did that grow? That was just by word of mouth?
Yeah, so it started having a few friends. I used to invite friends on Facebook and tell them, hey, come, and we're going to play ping pong, and we'll charge $20 at the door, and we'll have, free alcohol, and we'll host a tournament. We'll have some music, and people just kind of showed up, and the New York Times picked it up, and right after that, it was just like a big, big buzz, and, NHK did the piece about us, and Urban Daddy blasted also. It became a really fun party, and people would just show up on Friday nights in our apartment just to play ping pong and hang out and, just have fun.
Maybe I was before my time. Back when I was in high school, we had a ping pong table in our basement, and my friends would come over and we would play. But I never had models and celebrities and such cool people coming to my party.
Yeah, well, it's it just kind of happens, I guess. We just people like were looking to do something more fun and different and a bit more underground and something that's not pretentious also. It wasn't just like model and celebrity. It was just a lot of like people passionate about the sports. It was just, it's a good mix of people, from artists to, to more like geeky tech people and just like cool, hipsters or athletes. Kaz and Wally were the two first athletes kind of coming and doing exhibition back at the parties, and that was really cool, for the public to see, the real table tennis game.
Yeah, professional.
Yeah, so that was also putting a show together, and we still do that at Spin these days in our clubs, which is cool. On Friday nights, you can walk into any of our clubs and you'll see pros just having matches, and it's pretty fun.
That is super cool. Has there been an increase in popularity for ping pong? Big time.
Already when we were doing the Naked Ping Pong parties, by the end of the 2.5 years, we had 5,000 people on our mailing list. That's pretty big, so,
wow. I like your marketing. I like the Naked Ping Pong parties.
We needed to make it more edgy and fun and sexy, and, because ping pong is very, it's not very popular. It's very popular. People love to play, but that's not like, before our party, you weren't thinking ping pong and going out. So we had to kind of establish that. And now, when we talk about spin, people think they get it now. Well, some people think it's spinning fast. It's different.
Now, do you think that ping pong is to sport like the ukulele is to music? Because it's a sport that brings a smile to people's faces. I think sometimes when you just talk about it, and then it's like low barrier to entry because anyone can play. It's kind of like the ukulele as an instrument. Kids play, adults play.
That's a great comparison. What I love about what we do is that you could have a woman that's 96 years old that comes once a week for a lesson, and you could have kids, that are like 7 years old. They barely see above the table, and they always have, they have the same pleasure to play. And you can have the couple coming on a date. It's very diverse. Our demographics are very diverse. It's really rich, and it's so much fun. I take so much pleasure seeing people having fun and laughing and just dancing around the table.
Now, it was around that time. Is it no coincidence that there were at least 2 ping pong movies, I remember? There was Jimmy Tsai's Ping Pong Playa, and there was also Balls of Fury with Christopher Walken, George Lopez, and Maggie Q.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people kind of, when you have a trend, people kind of, they follow the trend, right? You kind of, you go with what's popular and what's cool.
So you think your timing was good. Now tell me this, Franck. I read that in 2008, Vitamin Water flew you guys to Phoenix to be part of 50 Cent's Super Bowl party. How the heck did that happen?
Yeah, that was really fun. I think a friend actually was working with Vitamin Water, and they just asked us. They always need activities for those events, and ping pong is great. I mean, it's a really cool activity. And we also have a really good crew of pro and entertainers. They're not just professional, but they're also great entertainers. Suyan, Wally, Kaz. They really put on a great show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a fun event. I remember that.
Like I said, there's so many crazy adventures along the way, and I think it's really cool to hear your story about how you have this passion and how you're building something. Just taking a step back, you grew up in Lyon, France? Like, what's your background? And then when did you come to the United States?
I was born in Lyon,
mm-hmm.
and my mother is French, and my dad is from Madagascar. When I was 14, we moved to Réunion Island, which is a little small French island in the Indian Ocean. And I moved to New York in 1999. So right after, pretty much, I graduated from the little business school that I did back in Réunion.
And what brought you to New York? That you mentioned the production company earlier. Did you come to New York to pursue film?
So I did an internship in Los Angeles. That was the last internship of the business school that I did in Réunion. And I came to New York for a week, and I was blown away, and I absolutely loved it. And instead of going back to Réunion to get a job, I went for the adventure, and I had family in New York at the time, and I knew I was going to be in New York. I just knew it. So I was doing an internship at MTV News, and I was also going to acting class. So that since I'm 14, I've been doing theater, and I'm still doing films now. And I've been, I thought there was such an inspiring city and beautiful energy and people open and friendly and just where everything is kind of possible if you work hard and you're passionate about what you do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's what I love about New York, and I still love New York.
Now, when you guys were having these gatherings at your apartment for ping pong and you grew your list to 5,000, did you ever think that it could be a business? Tell me how, because it seems like in a relatively short period of time, 2 years later, Spin's first location opened, right? How did that come about? How was the idea born?
Well, not quite. We got so passionate about ping pong that it kind of took over our life,
mm-hmm.
and we couldn't. To make money, we did corporate videos and stuff like that. But at a certain point, the we were just playing ping pong all the time and hosting those parties. And I remember very clearly, I looked at Jonathan and I said, how are we going to pay rent?
Uh-huh.
And because we started basically not making any money, and we were just kind of completely lost into these ping pong rallies and getting into that zone where you just forget, everything. And I was like, how are we going to pay rent, but it's really beautiful because I felt very fortunate that something that we truly are passionate about kind of because we're Phoenix today, and we have the whole team obviously that's been incredible in growing this baby, but it's now in a very good place for becoming a big business, a bigger business.
Yeah, I think that's part of your inspired story. It's that you found something that you're passionate about. You didn't really know how you were going to pay the rent, but you've been able to turn that into being able to pay the rent, right?
Yeah. We back at the loft, we were starting doing some events and some parties, So people were approaching us for events. So there was a bit of a hint that we probably could, have people come and pay and do events. But then when we opened the spin, so we met Susan Sarandon that came to one of our party, and we met a really good friend of mine, my friend Frankie, and then we met Andrew Gordon, who's through the National Arts Club, and his best friend used to own the building where Spin is today on 23rd Street. So, from the following that Naked Ping Pong had with Jonathan and I to Susan and Andrew, that was a good combination at the time to really to really manifest, this dream into an actual business, which was really beautiful. Beautiful collaboration. I feel very lucky to have met some incredible partners, at the beginning.
At that time, did that blow your mind when Susan Sarandon comes to your apartment to play ping pong, or did that just become normal to you?
No, I mean, she's incredible. Obviously, it's nice to meet people that you admire. So yeah, I was very excited to meet her, and we became good friends. And she's truly incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that you are an expert and effective networker. What are your thoughts as far as when you were hosting these parties, you were meeting a lot of people, right? And
yeah,
for you, your philosophy, was that planned, or did that just happen that you were meeting people? Because I suspect that you find that that's very important for your business, since you were saying that you were fortunate to meet these partners early on.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that I don't really like to make plans in general. And but I'm also open-minded to things that come and welcoming them, and even if it's a challenge. No, meeting those people weren't something I was planning to. It just happened, and that's what's so cool about New York. You meet a lot of people in the city. It's pretty easy to just meet people, and you meet people that you share a common passion. And in this case, that was the game. Just coming and hanging out and playing a game and somewhere non-pretentious, and it's refreshing.
So, Franck, how did that transition, once you met some of your partners, who came up with the idea to turn this into a business?
With Jonathan and I, at a certain point, we saw that the party were becoming more and more popular, and we thought it would be great to transform it into a business. We, starting a business is not easy, and you need really good partners that could really help you doing that. And we were lucky to meet Andrew. Andrew was in finance, and he knew how to put a business plan together, and so we all collaborated all together, and Susan was really involved in the design part as well and promoting, being an ambassador. And that's kind of the story, having really good partners.
Mm-hmm. What would you say your role is on a day-to-day basis?
I'm still so my role in the Naked Ping Pong was to organize those parties and inviting friends and, getting a DJ and organizing those parties. That's something that I love, is organizing events.
And how about at Spin? What is your role?
The same thing, networking, using my network and bringing people together, and then organizing events, like fun events in the clubs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And a few years ago, I brought on board a really great strategy partner that's been really helpful in growing the business, and he put a whole team of an executive team of people that are now managing the business with a very strong CEO, marketing director. So we have a whole team because we're opening a lot of clubs now. So
yeah, how big is the executive team, and how many employees do you have now? Can you say?
Yeah, we have about 250, and we're hiring another 250, and we have 12 people in the executive team.
And did you have entrepreneurial experience or desire previously?
I always been interested in that aspect. So I used to have a clothing line under my name that I sold to Barney's, and the production company. We had a production company with Jonathan and I.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I remember back in the business school in Réunion, I took over the cafeteria of the school and I was selling meals to the students. So I was already very early on interested in being an entrepreneur and just making things happen.
So from selling that first tennis ball, you just continued.
Yeah, I don't come from a very wealthy family, so it was nice to also make your own money.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad actually was very helpful, because when I turned exactly 18, my dad told me he was not going to give me any more money. He was going to put me in touch with a few of his friends, and they were going to give me jobs. And I was really not happy because I didn't have any money to put for gas in my motorcycle, so I had to work now, So I think that was a really good thing that my dad kind of told me early on, is to be independent and to just work and find ways. And he always told me too that out of 10 ideas, only if you're lucky, only 1 or 2 will work. And you have to try, you have to fail, you learn each time, and it's a very cool thing.
What did you learn through this process, and did you have to go through those 9 failures before reaching Spin as a successful business?
No, even with Spin itself, we had failures and we learned from it, and that just make you a stronger company in the long run.
Mm-hmm. So you're always it's a ongoing learning process, and you keep making adjustments.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing is that when you are passionate about something, you're not going to look at it as a failure. You look at it as, I'm just a gray cloud that's going through the sky, because I still love what I do, right? You're not feeling as depressed as if you were not enjoying what you were doing.
Right. Now, I'm really impressed by you guys established the flagship location in New York. And as they say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, right? And How many locations do you have now? You have 7?
So we have club with club in San Francisco, Chicago, Los Angeles, Toronto, New York, and we're opening Philly and Austin, and then a few more. But so we almost at 8.
Wow. Now, what's the vision and the long-term plan for Spin?
So in the long term is to just be in all the major cities in the world, and I think there is definitely a demand for it. I mean, look, when people started bowling back in the days, now there's probably like 300,000 bowling alley in the world. It's massive, and there's only a few ping pong clubs. So there's a huge potential for Spin. When we first wrote our mission statement, it was funny because we said, by 2022 we will have a club on the moon, and who knows? I mean, if Spin is going to be a very long-lasting company, that could happen. Maybe we'll open a club on space, looking with a beautiful view at planet Earth, and you could be able to play ping pong and have a drink, have a beer, a cocktail, and look at the planet. Would that be beautiful?
That would be quite the view. And maybe if you connect with Elon Musk, you might reach Mars too.
Yeah, so we should probably get going on that.
You mentioned that you did have failures at Spin. What types of challenges have you experienced, and has the concept changed much over time since you started?
Well, I think the biggest thing is finding the right management, and also the concept we invented. There was nothing like that before, so we had to really spend a lot of time and observe and see. We didn't know Spin was going to be an event space, and we were going to host that many events. So that itself, that just tells you we learned something big, because Spin today hosts so many events.
I see. It wasn't like that initially.
Well, it's not like it wasn't, but I remember I used to pick up the phone when people and I used to book events with Spin, and I was by myself doing that, and I was very fast. I was just I couldn't keep up anymore. So that's when we saw that there was a huge demand for the business. Spin has evolved a lot. Now we do a lot of collaboration with street artists in each club, local street artists. We also give back to the community. We support underprivileged kids, and we donate our old ping pong table to public school. So that's pretty cool too.
Tell me about how giving back is an important part of your business model. How did that come about?
From the very beginning, we hosted a lot of charity events, and we always try to help charities, give them a deal, or even sometimes, if possible, to give them the space and collaborate. And we're focusing on the privileged kids. We've hosted in the past 8 years so many charities, and that's something that I'm also passionate about. As part of those events, I always like to have a charity involved. The last time we did it was with the ballet dancers from ABT and New York City Ballet, and we supported this charity in Nepal that takes kids out of prison in Nepal. When the mother goes to prison, the kids are in prison with them. So my friend Pushpa Baznet, with the CNN Superhero Awards, took 60 kids out of those prisons in Nepal and has been raising them. So we've done a few fundraisers for her to help her with that, and it's really great. I'm just passionate about helping charities and just that side to to add to the event aspect.
Right. So you're trying to create something bigger than just a profitable business. You're trying to make a positive impact on your communities, in the communities that you have locations in, and you're trying to support different organizations.
Yeah, it's very, very important to spin. Not just to make money, but also to really support the community and help as much as we can.
And that's something that you brought, as well as it being part of the DNA of your company?
Susan is obviously very, she's an activist and she's been supporting a lot of charities too. But myself, yes, I've been organizing a lot of those charity events because I'm very passionate about that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we're a green company, so that's very important for us. We all the products, even our that we buy for the restaurants, are all local farms. Very conscious about what we do.
Is that pretty broad based, or do you have specific causes that are very important to you?
So there's an association called AYTTO, and they bring table tennis to public school. So that's been something that we've been involved from day one, and we now just in New York City we got into probably like 25 public schools donating tables and having pro going and teaching kids to play.
Mm-hmm,
which is really cool.
Well, that's developing the future.
Yeah. No, it's really fun to also go and play with those kids. I mean, they're actually really good now, because they've been playing for a few years, and it's very they love it, and it's fun to play with them.
And even though even though Spin is a social club, and you have food there, you have a bar there, our listeners should be aware that you guys are playing competitive ping pong. It's not the fraternity beer pong that some people may be more familiar with, right?
Well, it's not. We're not doing competitive ping pong. It's ping pong for everybody. We have pros that do exhibition, but there's no. And few nights we have players night where you could come and you can compete, but it's not what it's about. It's more about socializing and having fun and listening to music and just hanging out with your friends.
Right. So it sort of runs the spectrum. But that said, I did watch some YouTube video of you playing ping pong. You are a very strong player. You're not just there to fool around.
Yeah, I mean, I like to play. I used to compete, and but now I'm more playing for fun. I really love doubles too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I like to match myself with somebody that's not very good and take on some people that they think they're good, and it's really fun to just kind of have a fun double game.
Yeah, I particularly enjoyed watching a video of you playing ping pong with Marty Reisman.
Oh yeah, Marty was amazing. He was a huge part of Spin, like incredible. He used to have a club on the Upper West Side, and he contacted us back at the Naked Ping Pong, and he became a huge part of Spin. If you're in the club in New York, you'll see there's a mural of Marty made by a street artist. That's really cool. We executive produced a documentary that's on iTunes on Marty Reisman.
Mm-hmm.
The life and death of a ping pong hustler. That's also really cool. Like, Marty was truly a legend. I miss him a lot. It was incredible.
Yeah, I will make it a point to come visit Spin and see the mural. For those who don't know, Marty Reisman was the 1958 and 1960 U.S. men's single champion and the 1997 U.S. hardbat champion, where he was the oldest to win at age 67, and that blows my mind.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And I think the video that I saw of you playing, he was probably in his 80s, and it doesn't look like he lost it looked like he didn't lose any speed. He he was still a very proficient and competitive player.
Oh yeah, until the very end, he was, playing for hours and just still training, and he he always wanted to do that money match for $100,000 money match, and he wanted my help to put it together.
Yeah, tell me this: did he play for big money?
Yeah, so he used to spread points to people. So out of 21, he would see how good you are, and he would be like, "Hey, okay, listen, kid, I'll give you 17 points to 21." And then that's how he would make, he would hustle them, and he would always take their money. He was very smart about
that. Yeah, I had read that about him.
He would only play hard bats. He would never play. He would never play other paddles, just hard bats.
I wish I had the opportunity to meet him. Are there other really interesting people that you've met as a result of founding Spin?
Oh, yeah, so many. I met so many people. I remember one night Susan couldn't make it to Spin in time, and there was Pedro Almodovar in the cast of his movie coming, and I had to sit down with him, and I'm such a huge fan, so that really blew my mind. I was like, wow, I get to hang out with Pedro Almodovar. It's so cool.
Yeah,
but,
it's crazy.
We met a lot of athletes and producers, actors, writers, you name it, entrepreneurs, and there's been a lot of interesting people loving our concepts and coming regularly and really enjoying it, which is great.
And you think that shared passion across so many diverse people, really that's like the secret ingredient to your success, you think?
The secret ingredient, it's mixing the game with fun and some great food and drinks and a good vibe. It's, it sounds easy, but it's actually not that easy. You could go to a lot of places that are competitor, and it's not the same. For some reason, we really have a great concept now, and it's really fun place. And our staff is incredible too. I mean, it's all about having a good team again. You need a good team to execute a vision. It's just not going to happen by itself. And we are luckily now we have an incredible team of people, from chairman to the CEO to the busboy to the board person, that are passionate and that love Spin, and they believe in the concept, and it's not just a job, but it's also a passion for them too, and that's beautiful. That's really nice. Another thing that's really interesting is we created a job. The guy that picks up the ball with the fish net, that's a job that's we created. There was nothing like that. And when you come to Spin, you never have to pick up a ping pong ball. You'll have those guys that are picking up the ball for you and filling up your basket, and that's great, because you don't want to run around ping pong balls. I think that's the thing that's not great about ping pong, is when you have to look for balls under the couch.
So it's very luxurious playing. You borrowed that from professional tennis. You have ball boys.
Yeah, they run around and they just scoop the balls. It's pretty cool.
You have this passion, this business. I think you guys have, you have tremendous growth in this business as you expand. What does inspired money mean to you? Since you have business, you also have charitable goals. What do you think about when I say inspired money?
When you say inspired money is inspired from a dream from a passion is not just money driven. It's much more. It's inspiring, obviously, and I think that's what I think about.
Well, I think that's the passion that, like you said, it goes back to people. When you have a group of people and you develop a community who share a common passion, that's inspiration, and that's how you get something to grow. And because you can't do it alone.
You can do it alone. You just the conduit. The Naked Ping Pong Party was just the conduit of what Spin is today, and what other clubs are today.
Mm-hmm.
And that was born purely out of fun and passion. And luckily today, it's still fun and passion when you walked into our club. But the essence is still there. You still have that essence.
That sense is still there.
Yeah.
Even when Jamie Foxx or Prince show up to play.
Oh, that's why they come, because of that.
Franck, where can people find you and find more information about Spin?
So on the website, you can see a lot of information and of each club, and I think just to go onto the website.
And is there anything else that you want to share?
No, but thank you so much. That was really nice to share my story and to talk to you, and I hope we get to play some ping pong or like a tennis.
At this point, I think that, well, I better practice my ping pong before I come play with you, but I think that I'm going to have a better chance playing you in ping pong than playing you in tennis.
Okay. So we'll play soon. We definitely will. We'll set it up. Last thing, actually.
Sure.
Okay, Spin launched recently an app where you can challenge other players. So, it's something that's pretty cool. It's very hard to find players for anything,
mm-hmm.
When you're in the city. And so we created this app where you're able to challenge other players. So it's really fun.
But you challenge them on the app, but you physically have to go to Spin and play in person, right? You're not playing a video game.
Yeah, exactly. So the app is called Spin United by Ping Pong. So
Spin United by Ping Pong. Got it.
You could go on the App Store and download it.
In your website, is it wearespin.com?
Yeah, wearespin.com.
Okay, well, thank you, Franck. It's really a pleasure speaking to you today, and thank you for sharing your inspired money story, your business, and really trying to make the world a better place. One, by creating these locations for people to go to and have a good time, but you are connecting people and making the world a better place, one ping pong game at a time.
One ping pong game at a time, and I hope we get one day to be on space playing that game and sipping a cocktail. That would be my dream.
That is super cool.
Thank you, Andy. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in this week. What were your favorite inspired money moments? I was surprised to hear Franck say that he doesn't really like making friends. But he followed up by saying that he's open-minded to things that come and welcoming them. Also, geography helps. Living in New York enables him to meet a lot of people who share a common passion. And then there's that P word, passion. It's a word that came up several times, and Franck said Spin was born out of fun and passion. The essence is still there. Passion is an ingredient to living an inspired life, and with inspired money. Franck mentioned a couple of things that can be applied to creating something bigger than oneself. He said that starting a business is not easy and requires really good partners to help you. He appears to have found that in Jonathan Bricklin, Andrew Gordon, and Susan Sarandon. Spin's focus isn't just on making money. but also supporting its communities as much as possible. Spin hosts charity events, has donated over 60 ping pong tables to youth organizations. They source food locally and practice eco-friendly initiatives to conserve energy, reduce waste, and offset its CO2 emissions. From starting his business to running it, Franck is passionate about making the world a better place, and one that's more fun too. Coming up next on Inspired Money.
That's the purpose of it. I keep telling folks, and I tell them all the time, that you come to these events, and you're going to meet somebody that you wouldn't meet in your office. And hopefully the person or people that you meet, maybe one or two of them may be people that you can do business with, or people who can tell you about an opportunity or an idea that may help enhance your business. Or you may be able to tell somebody about something you know that's going to enhance their business. I mean, that's how we like things to continue to work and flow.
That's Terrence Clark, president of the New York and New Jersey Minority Supplier Development Council. He spent over 25 years of his career helping more than 5,000 business owners and entrepreneurs. If you like today's show, the best thing you can do is subscribe, rate, and review us. Go to inspiredmoney.fm right now, where there's a link for you to leave an iTunes review. You'll also find show notes and guest links. Inspired Money is brought to you by my company, Runnymede Capital Management, a fiduciary investment advisor to businesses, individuals, and families. Educate yourself for free by subscribing to our blog, also at inspiredmoney.fm. And if you have any questions or need help, please send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. All the music on today's show is by Jim Kimo West. Aloha, Kimo. Well, that does it for this episode. Want to be an inspired moneymaker? Do something that scares you. Do something that's going to make you better. Do something to give back in a bigger way to the world. Tweet me what you're up to. Until next time, find your inspiration and run with it.